Hi, we're Sarah and Seunghyun, and today we're in Siem, Cambodia to visit one of the most iconic man-made wonders of the world, Angkor Wat. Angkor Wat holds the Guinness World Record for being the largest religious structure in the world and is visited by roughly 2.6 million tourists a year. And today, we're gonna check out what all the hype is about. Let's go! Good morning, everyone. It's about 4:15 a.m. So Seunghyun and I, we just don't wake up this early. But today is a special day because we are about to go see one of the most famous sunrises in the world. All right, let's go. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. So it's 4:30 right now, but there are a lot of cars still on the road, and I'm assuming we're all going to the same place.
Just arrived at the ticket office, which is like kind of partway outside of town. You have to buy your passes to see the temples before you go. So we are in line now because the ticket booth opened around 4:50 or so. And you can actually buy this the day before, or you can use a day pass anytime in the next 5 days after purchase. So we're buying it the day of. As our tuk-tuk driver, part of our deal was that he'd take us here first. Yeah. But anyway, that's why we're here. And I'm probably not making a lot of sense because I'm a little sleepy. All right, so we're in line right now. It's getting more and more crowded. More tour groups are coming. It seemed to have just opened booths, so I think we got here at a good time. So you can actually pay in a few different ways. You can pay with your credit card. We're just gonna pay with cash. You can also buy longer, like 3-day passes or even 5-day passes, I heard. But we're only going for like a full day. We're gonna explore as much of the temples as we can today. All right, wow, as you can see behind me, it's gotten a lot more crowded since when we got here. But we got our tickets. They were $37 a person. Process was easy. So this is the passes here. You have to keep it with you the whole time. It has some rules on the back about what to do, how to be more respectful, the opening hours. And on the front, it has your photo and your kind of ID for getting in. Some other stuff that's kind of cool is we're in this lobby area. And they also have a lot of information sites set up. So this lobby itself seems like it would be a stop you could stay for a minute at and read some of the signs. I don't know where Seunghyun went. He disappeared. I lost him already and we're not even in the temple. So Seunghyun got our change and we're good to go.
Oh, they're big.
These are like the fattest koi I've ever seen.
All right, I'm getting bit by mosquitoes. Let's go. All right, so we're near the entrance and they're checking out tickets. Morning. Yeah, same.
Have a good day. Thank you, you too. All right,
Okay,
thank you.
okay, thank you. All right, so we're at the first temple. I'm so excited. There are so many people out here today. They all came for the same thing. I think the sun's starting to come up. It's starting to get a little lighter in the skies. So we're gonna go in and have a look.
We are at the end of the path, about to walk down, and you can see the silhouette, the famous silhouette in the background. Oh yeah, let's go. All right, so we just arrived, and once you get your tickets checked, you walk across this bridge across water, and you enter the actual Angkor Wat's main temple area. So we just walked through this beautiful gate. This is where everyone is set up to watch the sunrise. It's gonna be real crowded at the front, but you can already see the sun starting to come up, and it's beautiful. So I think it's gonna be awesome. Let's go closer to the front.
So we're in front of Angkor Wat. There's a small pond, pool of water in the front, and you can see the reflection of the temple. And it looks like there's two symmetrical temples in front of you, one up and one down. And it's really pretty. And it looks like the sun is coming up from the other side of the temple. It's just really beautiful.
And there's hundreds of dragonflies and birds.
Look at all these tourists over here. I feel like the whole Siem Reap tourists came out this morning to look at the temples. So we're on like the center path walking up towards the temple. And I think sun coming up made a really big difference because I can see all the details of the temple's design and its structure. And this structure is hundreds of years old, but you can still see the delicate designs on the edge of the temple throughout the whole building. There is not just one big building, but there are multiple buildings that are like stacked up. So that is where we were at, edge of the pond, looking this way.
So the sun is fully up now and we're walking into the main complex. It is very crowded here in the morning. I heard if you come a little bit later, the crowds kind of disappear as the heat comes out. But we're gonna take a look inside. It's so much bigger than I thought it would be. Angkor Wat isn't just this main temple we're at. It's a huge complex, but this main temple was constructed around like 1122 to 1150 CE. The Khmer Empire stretched through Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, and Cambodia. So this was a huge civilization when it was here. One thing I found is that there are people who carve their names. There's almost like graffiti on it, but really old graffiti. This one says Lutu 1894. Even back then, come on, you carve your name on an ancient temple? Hopefully no one does this nowadays.
It looks symmetrical if you come here. The three towers and the two in the back. So one of the things that I read about is unlike other temples, this one's facing west. And so there's a theory that this was actually used for funerals or for people when they died, because the sun is obviously setting on that side of the temple, but it's facing us back. So that was a really one of the differences that I noticed. But it's all speculation though. They don't know for sure.
You can see there's a ton of carvings inside the walls of the temple. You can see all these figures. There's like so much to see. I kind of see why people take 3 days to explore these temples.
It's kind of sad because the parts up top on second and third floors, the designs seem to stay slightly intact. If you look further down, it's kind of eroded pretty bad.
It's kind of fascinating because not much is known. And I heard that a lot of what we do know is based on the writings, often not very kind writings, of one person from this like old Chinese explorer who came here whenever it was active and thriving. But I think you don't need much knowledge of what the meaning is to appreciate just how crazy these carvings are. To think that this was done 1100 CE is crazy.
So usually I'm not a big fan of religious temples. I don't really go to a lot of temples, but this one's an exception because it is just so huge and the architecture stuff is really beautiful. And not just size-wise, but a lot of delicate designs around it as well. If you come close, there are these intricate designs that you'll notice. And there's this big giant step in front of us. I wish I could walk up, but it's closed for public right now. You know, that hot air balloon scene would have been nice too, because you get to see things from high up.
We're having a quick sunscreen break. There's just so much to see. I think you could spend hours just here, but we have 2 other temples we also want to take a look at. There's a large temple in the center, I think called Bakta.
We have to get
You can climb up, but it seems like there's another gate. So the climb is quite steep to the top. There's no extra fee to climb. They just have some special regulations. You have to make sure you're wearing certain clothes. If you're pregnant, you can't climb to the top. So we're gonna head up now. Ready, Seunghyun?
Oh wow, look at the view from here.
Look at that.
So pretty. So obviously Angkor Wat is one of the iconic, most visited places in Cambodia, and you can see the silhouette of the temple on the national flag of Cambodia as well.
So inside, a lot of statues, but you'll see that a lot of them don't have a head. And we overheard that this is because a lot of people would rob the temple. The head was so easy to transport and sell to other countries that they would steal just the head. Kind of sad.
They apparently sold hands too.
This is awesome. Unlike other places, there's no barrier between you and these statues and structures, which is just wild to me. Please don't touch anything if you come here, but it's like you're right face to face with this structure. It's pretty wild. Obviously, a lot of maintenance goes into this. Lots of groundkeepers to keep this place trim. Wow.
So there are these tour guides that are sort of sitting on the sides. And at first I thought they weren't really official, but I think they actually are. A lot of them are wearing these licensed necklaces on their necks. Kind of want to support their cause. It would have been really nice to learn more about these temples, but I just don't have enough cash on me. We won't be going with tour guides.
When you come to Angkor Wat, there's a few different ways you can take a tour. One way is you can book a van that typically drives you around in a small group and has a tour guide with you that takes you to each place. Or if you book a private van, that's usually the most expensive option. Then there's tuk-tuks like we did. We hired a driver for the day. They'll pick you up and drop you off at different parts. And that seems to be like the mid-range. And then finally we heard you can also rent bicycles. We thought that would be really fun, but it is just so hot. Super easy to get a tour. You don't need to book in advance. And honestly, the prices we saw online were way more expensive.
So behind me is the wall of Angkor Wat. The floating bridge is where we came across to go to the main gate. Oh yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. Thank you. All right, thank you so much.
This is exactly what we needed. This is perfect.
All right, on to the next temple. And it's a bigger complex, and it used to be an old city. We're gonna go have a look.
Alright, so we just got to our second location. This is Angkor Thom. Angkor Thom? Angkor Thom. This was actually a giant walled city, and this city had everything: hospitals, schools, you name it. And as you're driving through, you can see all these ruins on the side of the road. Now we got dropped off right in the center at Bayon Temple. You can see behind me, it's not as big as Angkor Wat, but this already has been really stunning. Unlike Angkor Wat, this temple is facing east. This one's a little bit newer than Angkor Wat and is in a different style. They called it the Baroque Khmer style. That was different than the classical style of Angkor Wat. Oh my goodness.
So the first thing that I noticed in this temple is that the sculptures, there are faces embedded in the sculptures. It reminds me of that, what is that hill called in the US with presidents' faces on the hill?
Mount Rushmore?
Mount Rushmore.
They also have the headless statues.
Yeah, it's so sad to see. Yeah, it's really sad. So I'm not religious at all, but coming to temples like this that are giant, well built and beautiful, I could totally see how it could have acted to make people believe in certain things and to come here to worship God. It is absolutely beautiful.
And this temple is a Buddhist temple. Angkor Wat was originally Hindu and then over time began being used by Buddhists. But this temple was originally built as a Buddhist temple.
And these protector animals by the gate, a lion or some kind of a mystical creature, their faces are all destroyed too. I don't know why.
Oh, meow, meow. Oh, you're hungry.
Want some bread?
He knows what to do. Just drop it. Oh, you like bread.
Is it tasty?
What's your name in?
Andrew, because he goes, yeah.
Andrew.
But I can't tell if you're liking it or not liking it.
I mean, he's eating it.
Let's feed it.
Okay. Bye, Andrew. Have a good day. So I think it's kind of interesting that they used technology back then, kind of like the Romans did. They had aqueducts. They used these channels to bring water into the temple, and you can actually see the channels on the bottom. Even though Angkor Wat gets the most attention, there are tons of temples in this complex. I think it's something like 400 acres or something is the whole complex. Now we're walking to meet our driver. I think this was called Elephant Lane or Elephant Road. And there's a lot of elephant carvings here. Elephants played a pretty big role in the construction of a lot of these temples. They were used as labor and they're kind of memorialized. So it's kind of cool to see that too. So we got up at 4 and it's about 9:40 right now. It's 5.5 hours of templing and we are hitting our walls. Everything is beautiful. You almost start to get fatigued though. Your eyes start to get fatigued. The terrace of the elephant extends all the way out. Back there is where we came from. And we're going to meet our driver out on this side. There's a lot of walking involved at Angkor Wat. So if you come, wear comfy shoes, bring an umbrella, sunscreen, lots of water. We have one more stop, which is supposed to be one of the most beautiful temples. On the side, you can see these other ruins in the back. I don't know if these are ruins of the buildings of Angkor Thom or what, but everywhere you look are more temples, more ruins. This is what the restoration looks like. They're rebuilding the elephant terrace. It seems like they expand it out and have someone carve elephants to match the old style.
So we're seeing that there are Korean agencies involved in helping to restore the temples here too.
Hello. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, perfect.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we're gonna go see the third final temple.
This is the one where the movie was filmed, right? I heard
You?
they paid $10,000 US per day to film the movie. Hello. Yeah.
So we're in front of our third temple right now, and this temple is one of the most beautiful ones in the area because trees grows into the structure of these buildings. That makes a really good scenic view. And I'm already seeing some really tall trees growing right next to temples, kind of growing into the side of the walls there a little bit.
We just learned that this used to be a university, so people actually used to come here to study. Alright, so we're here at the main temple and it's been really nice because our driver, Mr. Seha, has been telling us some facts about the temple and we learned a lot. We can see some of the ruins here, so we're going to take a look and go further into the temple.
People have a small body, you can go inside and take the picture.
We're too big.
Too fat. See, I think this site is really pretty because I can kind of picture what it used to be like back in the days, but also at the same time, I can see how time has worn off and you can see what had happened to the temple.
So this is a restored section and they use the original stone, but then they recarve them and like recreate them to look like it used to look.
So we just got inside the temple and the temple has many alleyways that leads to outside and you can just feel this cool breeze. So they have these steel plates to hold up the weight of the trees. They must weigh quite a bit. Oh, it's super wide at the top. Right. But it somehow merged nicely with these these sandstones. So I think this place is one of the very few unique places where man-made artifacts meet with nature. I don't know what came first, the tree or the temple, but the tree with the temple looks really great. So there used to be another tree here, but it died pretty recently, right?
This one's not original anymore.
So babe, when we buy a house, we should plant a tree on our roof or something to make it look good. We'll make our house out of sandstones.
Okay.
I swear they're all smiling. You know what? I don't see any monkeys here. They would have loved this tree, don't you think? So the root goes all the way out till that end. He was thirsty.
Man, that was an amazing day. Honestly, each temple was unique, and we only saw the smallest fraction of temples you can see. But I am wiped out. Even though Angkor Wat was the most stunning in my opinion, I think my favorite was the last temple because we got to go with our driver from the day. So I didn't expect to have that experience. So we actually got to talk a little bit about his life, about his village, and telling us stories about catching snakes.
Oh, my favorite was Angkor Wat, hands down. I think it's because we got to see the sunrise.
We were so happy we had a private driver to go at our pace. Also, he gave us cold water, cold towels. I didn't expect him to come with us to the last temple, almost act as a tour guide as well. Mr. Seha, the blonde president, he works here. But I think that's it for us, and now we're gonna go eat at Nick's restaurant.
Yep.
I'll see you in the next one.
Bye. We're witnessing some. They said this is where they hunt down the American wives who don't listen to their husbands and sacrifice themselves. Right over there.
Thank you, tour guide.
Anytime. I wonder how many people or how many groups of thieves came here to try to find treasure. Right now, I'm looking for a wallet. No, it's not funny.
No.
Did you like Angkor Wat?
Oh, I love Angkor Wat. Oh my goodness.
Do you want to Angkor to Angkor Wat?
Oh my gosh. I'm not even gonna respond to that.
Leave a comment if you like that joke, guys. Make sure you come on a snowy day because sunny days don't really work.
승현's advice, bring some snow with you.